Hi, I'm Paula from Happy Yoga Wales, and this is a yin yoga practice for self-acceptance. So we are going to be working with the heart chakra and opening up through the whole body, so we won't neglect the lower body either. And this is suitable for absolutely everybody. If you have a block or two, they will come in handy. If not, then grab a pillow or cushion off the sofa, and we're going to start today lying on our backs in reclined butterfly pose. So come on down and bring the soles of the feet together and just let the knees fall out to the side. Bring the shoulder blades underneath you here, picking up the back of the head so the neck is nice and long. And you can relax the hands today, one on the belly and one on the heart. And right away, just connecting with the heart center. So take a big breath in here, inhaling through the nose, pausing at the top, and exhale, sigh it all out. And do that one more time, a big breath in, and sigh it out. And we're going to hold all our poses for about 2 to 3 minutes today. And just settle in here in our first pose, maybe a little bit longer as we settle into our space. Noticing the sound of your own breath. And knowing that this is exactly where you need to be right now. As the body and the mind starts to settle into our practice, maybe noticing the heartbeat underneath that hand. Noticing the rise and fall of the breath. And working with the affirmation today, I am worthy of love. And repeating that to yourself just a few times. I am worthy of love. And with each repetition, feel that sense of love filling the heart space and spreading through the whole body. And if you find this difficult, maybe it would help to visualize somebody, human or animal, who loves you very much. And feel the love coming from that person or animal. And just allow it to fill your body. I am worthy of love. And just taking a few more breaths here. And then take a big breath in, pausing at the top, and sigh out. Nice. So to come out of our pose, just bring the hands to the outside of the thighs and gently guide them in, so the knees face up towards the ceiling. And just pause here, just noticing how you feel after our first pose. And then from here, we're going to roll onto our bellies and find our floor scorpion pose. So big heart opener. So we're going to start lying on the belly and stretch the right arm out long to the side. So it's just about in line with the shoulder, maybe even a little bit higher. So this will be different for everybody. Just find that place that feels good for you. Bringing the left fingertips underneath you. I like to just pick my chest up and kind of roll that shoulder blade down the back so it's nice and comfortable, making loads of space between the ear and the shoulder. And then just gently rolling onto the side. And you can stay here with the knees stacked, or you can bring your left foot behind you so the toes just touch the floor, maybe even straighten out that right leg. So again, in our yin practice, we don't want to create any tension. We just want to really relax into our poses. So as you move into different variations of these poses that I'm offering, just notice how it affects the body. If you start to tense up, then just back off and maybe choose a different version. And the option here to take this left hand, reach it up towards the sky, and then just let the elbow bend so that the hand rests behind the hips. And for our last few breaths here, scanning the body, looking for anywhere you can relax a little bit more, allowing the belly to be soft. And then taking a big breath in here. Pause at the top. Exhale, sigh out. So if that hand's behind the back, bringing that round first. Placing the left hand just in front of the face. And then if the foot is behind you, just gently rolling back so you come onto your belly. And then make a little pillow with the hands here. So just stack one hand on top of the other. Rest the head down. And just take a few breaths here. And just notice any sensations in the body. Any thoughts in the mind. And any emotions. Just notice. And then we'll take that on the other side. So stretch your left arm out long this time. So again, keeping it in line with the shoulder, maybe a little bit higher towards the head. Bring the right fingertips underneath the shoulders, the right shoulder, and then just roll to gaze to the right. Well, this might be enough. Maybe you want to bend the knees here. Or maybe picking up that right foot and just placing the toes behind you. So wherever you are, softening through the shoulders, softening through that heart space. Maybe lengthening the left leg, or even picking up the right arm and just letting it slide behind the back. And there is no end goal in yoga. It's all just about how you feel on the day. Noticing what's going on in your body, your mind. Being present and working with what comes up. So if you notice that this version of the pose is a little much, just finding somewhere that feels good. And then taking our last breath here, big breath in. A little pause. And a gentle sigh out. So wherever you are, gently making your way back towards the belly, using that right hand for support. And then finding your pillow
With the hands, one more time, resting either the cheek or the forehead down. And noticing the effects of the pose. And then from here, we're just going to come up into a tabletop position so that we can set up for our swan pose. I'm going to spin around and face this way, but you can stay facing whichever way is best for you. So with the hands underneath the shoulders and the knees under the hips, you might want to take a little bit of movement here, just rocking the hips side to side, noticing how they feel before we come into our swan pose. So from here, just taking the right knee towards the right wrist and bringing the ankle over towards the opposite knee. And then shuffling that left leg back to find some length in our swan pose. Now if this right hip is lifted, go ahead and grab a block or two and pop it underneath the hip. So a cushion works nicely here too, just so you can feel grounded, supported by whatever's underneath you. And then just staying here if that feels comfortable. Trying to draw that right hip back and left hip forward just slightly. Softening the shoulders, softening the jaw. And then if it feels okay for today, what we're going to do is come on down and start to reach the fingertips off towards the right. So this can be any amount. And again, if you've got some cushions or blocks, grab a block, then it makes this pose a little bit more accessible. So we're just going to reach the left fingertips off towards the right to find a stretch through the whole left side of the body. And like I say, you can pop a block or cushion underneath the forehead here. So big stretch for the hip, so feeling it in the right hip, but also lengthening through the whole left side of the body, maybe feeling it into the heart space. And then take a big breath in here. And sigh out. So to come out of our swan pose, walk the fingertips back towards centre first. Just take it slow, noticing any sensations as you go. And then from here, just moving any props out of the way. We're going to come onto this right hip. So just sitting onto the right hip and allow that left leg to come all the way around. So we're setting up here for our half butterfly pose. Sitting up nice and tall, bringing this right foot into the inner thigh. And just stick your bum out a little bit here and just notice any sensations right there. And from here, we're just going to reach tall through the crown of the head as we inhale, and then turn the torso towards that straight leg. And then maybe walking the fingertips forwards and reaching this time a little bit more with the right arm. So again, noticing these sensations, maybe through the outside space of the heart center, as well as getting a deep stretch into the hamstrings. And only going as far as feels right for you. So we don't want to push, to strain, especially the hamstrings. They can get damaged pretty easily. It'll take a long time to heal, believe me. So softening here wherever you can. And just taking our last few breaths here. Allowing the belly to expand with each inhale, but feeling the breath affect the upper body as well. The upper back, the chest. And then take a big breath in. And sigh out gently. So use the hands to support your torso here, walking them back nice and slowly. Keep the chin tucked in. And then let the shoulders stack above the hips. And just notice any sensations, any heat or pulsing as we come out of that pose. And then we'll set up for the other side. So making your way back to your tabletop position. Bringing the hands under the wrists, knees under the hips. And again, just notice here any differences from one side to the other after doing our poses there. And then bringing the left knee towards the left wrist and the ankle over towards the right hip. And just sending that left leg back. And I like to just rock side to side a little bit here, kind of finding that place where the hip wants to be. And then finding your support, popping that underneath the left hip if you want it. And I didn't say this on the other side, but I like to keep the foot tucked in quite close, keeping the knee closed. It's a little bit safer for the knee generally, but some people like to open the foot or open the knee so the foot comes closer to the top of the mat. And if you're doing that, just be really mindful of how that feels in the knee. It'll depend on how open you are in the hips as to whether that's right for you or not. So just squaring the hips as much as you can to the front of the mat. Finding some length. And then if it feels okay, walking the hands forwards. And then just sending those right fingertips out towards the left at a diagonal. So we're finding this kind of long diagonal line through the upper body. And again, maybe popping something underneath the forehead here. And just finding the place where you can feel the stretch, feel the sensation, but it's still comfortable. You can still allow the body to relax. And then taking our last few breaths here. And inhale in, fill all the way up. And gently let it go. So if the arms are reaching forward, just slowly bring them back in. Keep the chin tucked in. And support the torso back upright. And then moving any blocks out of the way. We're going to roll onto that left hip. That's a good release. So setting up with our left foot in the inner thigh of the right leg. So just sitting nice and tall. And then when it feels right, just gently turning, twisting the shoulders towards that leg. So we're trying to keep the shoulders open here. And then from here, we're going to walk our left hand forwards towards the ankle, just any amount. So if you've got a stack of blocks here or a bolster to rest the head on, this is a lovely place to be. And then relaxing into the pose wherever you are. And the right arm can just rest wherever feels right for you. So again, everyone's going to be slightly different here, but we're looking for this stretch through the left side of the body, as well as into the back of the leg. You might feel this through the hips, the low back. But for me, I feel a real nice stretch through underneath the armpit, so the outside of this heart centre, the upper back. And then when you're ready, take a big breath in. And very gently sigh it out. And walking the hands back. Keep the chin tucked in towards the chest. And when the shoulders are above the hips, then just slowly start to roll the shoulders back and lift the chin. And then from here, we're going to make our way down onto our backs and find our bridge pose. So the heart chakra is the bridge between the lower chakras, the chakras of the body, and the upper chakras, which are considered the more spiritual, ethereal chakras. So it makes perfect sense that we do our bridge pose to finish off. So bring the feet underneath the hips, press into the heels and lift the hips, just any amount. And then slide your block underneath the sacrum, so that big flat bone. And then feel the support of the block underneath you. And just lengthen the back of the neck here, bring the shoulder blades down underneath you. And you can bring the hands to the side of the body and you can stay here. Or you can take the arms up overhead for a little bit more of a stretch into the upper body. So again, stretching through the chest in all of our poses today. So maybe you choose to cactus the elbows or hold opposite elbows with arms over the head. And if you've got a little bit more space available to you, if it feels good, you can start to straighten the legs one at a time, but just be really mindful that there's no pinching in the low back. I've kept my block down low here, so I prefer to keep the block low and stretch out the legs, but you could always bring the block up a little higher and keep the knees bent. Just choose what feels right for you. And just allow the body to melt into the ground, into the support. Just again, bringing the attention to the heart center. Maybe visualizing that person or animal who loves you very much. And allowing that love to fill you. From the heart, spreading all the way into the limbs, every cell of the body. ready, take a big breath in. And exhale, sigh it out. And just gently bending the knees one at a time. If the arms are overhead, just sliding them back down. And then press firmly into the heels here so you can lift the hips and just slide that support out of the way. And just take a moment here, let the knees come together if that feels good. Bringing one hand to the belly, one hand to the heart. And just notice how you feel in the physical body. Notice any thoughts. Notice any emotions. And know that whatever you notice, whatever you feel, you're exactly where you need to be, exactly how you need to be. And you are worthy of love. And either staying in this position or stretching the legs out long to find our Shavasana pose. You can keep the hands where they are or bring them out to the sides in line with the hips, taking up space. And just taking one big breath in here. And gently sighing it out. And just taking a few moments in silence to absorb our practice. Notice the natural breath. Feel your body being breathed. Feel love radiating from your heart center out into every cell. And take this sense of love with you off the mat, sending it to everyone that you meet today. And repeating one last time to yourself, I am worthy of love. And then find it in some little movements in the hands and the feet. Maybe taking a stretch before rolling onto one side. And then when you feel ready, using the hands to support you, coming back up to a seat. And then bringing the hands to heart center, take a big breath in. And exhale, sigh out. Well, thank you so much for practicing with me. If you've enjoyed this practice, then please remember to like and subscribe. And let me know in the comments what else you'd like to see on this channel.
For a longer version of this practice, head on over to happyyoga.wales, where you will find longer versions of all of my practices in the on-demand library. If you want to stay a little bit longer on your mat, then check out this meditation. It will be here somewhere. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Namaste.